I do have video proof, and I've got video proof again. Okay, study your homework question. Okay, here we go. We're just reviewing for our test. We're taking theirs tomorrow. You guys will take yours on Wednesday because you're off today. Okay. All right, here we go. If you think you know the answer, raise your hand.
Oh, I think gun.
Oh, mercy. A blink is a device that expels gas in one direction and moves in the opposite direction. What do you think, Adam?
A rocket.
A rocket.
If you didn't know that, perhaps you go back.
Yes, let's not brag because we use the simplest one.
Oh, do that,
Okay.
do that.
The reaction force that propels a rocket forward is called, Elma? Thrust. Very good. Well, thank you. There was no hurry. You had time.
This was,
But thank you.
yeah.
Wait, what?
All right, here we go. Length is speed in a given direction. Blank is speed in a given direction. In other words, the answer is speed in a given direction. What do you think, Brock?
Velocity.
Yes. Velocity. I can't get it out. Okay. Length is the velocity a rocket must achieve to establish an orbit around Earth. What do you think, Red?
Orbital velocity.
What?
Orbital velocity.
Orbital velocity. Very good. Blank is the velocity a rocket must reach to fly beyond a planet's gravitational pull. Blank is the velocity a rocket must reach to fly beyond a planet's gravitational pull. What do you think, Adam?
Gravitational velocity? Nope.
No.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
No.
It won't.
What do you think? What do you think? Hey, you know what? When we review like this and no one knows the answer, it kind of shows me that no one's really been looking over their homework questions leading up to this. Yes.
Terminal velocity?
What?
Terminal velocity?
No, but that's an excellent guess. So. Okay, what are you doing when you get away? What do you think?
Escape velocity.
Escape velocity.
Oh, it's going back to me.
Yeah.
It's just easier to have them in front of you.
It is. If you got the answer right in front of you, it does make it a little simpler to reason through it sometimes. But if you actually know it, it also makes it easier sometimes. Okay? The three types of fuel used to power modern spacecraft is solid, liquid, and ions. What do you think, Carter? That is true. That is true. In a blank rocket, oxygen is mixed with fuel, which is a dry explosive chemical. What do you think, Al?
Solid.
Solid. That's solid. Okay? In a blank rocket, both the oxygen and the fuel are in liquid form. What do you think, Seth?
Liquid.
What?
Bless
Did you say gas?
your heart. Oh my God.
I couldn't hear you, so you are correct. It is liquid. It is liquid. Yes. The part where I went in liquid form should have been a kind of a giveaway. Okay. All right. And this rocket does not burn chemical fuels. They expel gas ions out of their engines at a very high speed. Adam.
I bet no one will know this. Ion.
Very good. You had to dig deep for that one. Okay. Rockets were first developed in the 1100s in Russia. What do you think, Parker?
False.
That's false. Where was it?
China.
China.
Wuhan, back in Russia.
Yeah, Wuhan. That was it.
Vladimir Putin.
Look outside the window, drop in the morning.
All right.
Rocker, you not wearing a uniform shirt? Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, you need to get new friends.
Whoa.
Because they rat you out every day.
Same here. I've got like 20 green slips because I'm not wearing a belt. You're so smart.
He's ratting himself out. All right. The space race was between what two countries? What two countries? What do you think?
Russia and USA.
Yep, Russia and US.
Soviet Union.
The Soviet Union. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stop talking now. Stop talking. All right, when did the space race begin? When did it officially begin? What do you think, Nick?
1957.
1957. That was when it officially began. Okay. What was the name of the first satellite placed in orbit, Adam?
One or something?
Sputnik.
Sputnik.
Sputnik 1. It was, and yeah, it was one because originally it was just the Sputnik, but when they sent up the second one, and it was also Sputnik, they named it 2. So the first one becomes the Sputnik 1. Kind of like World War I. It was not World War
It was a
I
Great War
until there was a World War II.
It was a Great War.
It was the Great War.
Why was it great? It's a freaking war. It's the World War.
The Great War. Well, it was the first time that
The war to end all war.
that many, it was the war to end all wars.
end much.
And the Cold War was in.
Okay. A satellite is an object that revolves around another object in space. There's 2 types of satellites. What are they? Anybody name them?
Yep.
What do you think back there, Will?
Artificial and the other one.
Okay, what's the other?
Non-artificial? Okay. What- Artificial is one. What do you think?
Natural.
Natural.
I was getting ready to say that, but I thought
So, knowing that, that would be that question is a true statement, okay? And because the question was a satellite is an object that revolves around another object in space. The 2 types of satellites are natural and artificial. That would be a true statement, okay? What is a natural satellite? What do you think?
Is it like the moon?
The moon, yeah, the moon is a natural satellite, okay?
It's not transmitting.
Okay? It doesn't have to transmit anything. That's not a satellite. Didn't say anything about it. It says a satellite is an object that revolves around another object in space. Okay? All right. No, that was a good, no, he was thinking. That was actually that's a good question. But that's not what a satellite, the artificial satellites that man sends up usually are transmitters for some, or receivers, but they serve a purpose. But a natural satellite, although it serves a purpose, communication is not one of them. Okay? All right. The first human in space.
don't know his name.
You just give me his first name, it'll be fine.
Yuri.
Yuri.
I cannot say
Yuri,
it.
I knew it was a Russian dude.
Yuri Gagarin. Okay?
What's his last
Yeah.
name?
Yuri Gagarin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yuri something that I can't.
Okay? Now, who is the first American in space? A lot of people misses this, what do you think?
Neil Armstrong.
No.
No.
No?
And John
Okay.
Alan Shepard.
Alan Shepard. Alan Shepard was the first American in space. He just kind of went up
They came back.
and came back. He didn't really spend a whole lot of time.
Wasn't he the one who got the capsule and his heat shield started to fall off during the entry? Did he still make it? Something like that?
No, he still made it. Yeah, he survived. He came back. If he hadn't survived, we wouldn't
Counted.
yeah. Well, no, it would have counted. He'd been first man in space. He'd also been the first American to die in space, so. But in that was not the case. Alan Shepard comes back safe and sound. All right, who was the first American to orbit Earth? Okay, first American to orbit Earth. What do you think?
John Glenn.
John Glenn. Yeah. John Glenn.
Good.
John Statham.
Okay.
Imagine.
All right. The name of the manned spacecraft that landed on the moon was. What do you think?
Eagle.
Eagle.
It's a
The
bird.
eagle.
Oh, yeah, I was about to
Bird. It's
say.
a plane.
Eagle.
Eagle.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No, it's not. It was what? Oh, he did. Oh.
What did the scientists learn from analyzing moon rocks? This is a tough one. Let's just see if anybody remembers it. What do you think?
They learned that some of the space rocks were like the same rocks that were like dead, the same stuff in them
Same
that on
material.
Earth.
Yep.
Some were the same as the ones on Earth, and some were not.
I bet
Okay.
that's like where the theory that.
Yeah, it's basically they learned that the materials that made up the moon rocks are the same materials that are found on Earth, but they also discovered that some of the moon rocks materials combine to form a kind of rock that is not found on Earth. Okay?
Did they name it?
Yeah, they called it Wally.
Like name
Yeah,
it.
later they made a movie, but they turned a rock into a robot.
It's a good movie though.
It's sad.
I
It
wouldn't
came
know,
out
I've
to
never
the-
seen it, I just pulled Wally, I was thinking Wally Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver for some reason. So. All right. Apollo astronauts purposely crashed equipment into the moon's surface in order to measure moonquakes. What do you think, Andrew? That is true.
Hey, let's
That's
go back to
true.
the Olympics.
Wonder what they'd done if they'd blown the moon up. That'd have been really, like.
That'd been kind of cool.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Well, actually, it wouldn't have been because
We probably all
it would have
died.
caused Earth to get off.
We
Killed
probably
the-
all died.
That wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been.
Either
Now they
Either
knew,
freeze to death or burn.
they actually knew they were not going to blow the moon up.
There goes our tax.
They had the laser set on stun. They knew it wasn't going to blow the thing up.
We could really pay business taxes. We just took some moon rocks.
All
and
right.
sold them to billionaires.
All right, let's continue. Oh, mercy. A blink is a large artificial satellite in which people can live and work for long periods. What do you think, Adam?
A space station.
A space station. Yeah, a space station. Okay.
There's
Because it's an artificial satellite because it is orbiting the Earth. Right? It's orbiting the Earth, so it's an artificial satellite. Okay? Some probes have small robots called blink that can actually move around on the surface. What do you think, Seth? Rovers.
We got Land
They're
Rovers.
rovers.
And Range Rovers.
We
Yeah,
all
nobody
get
asked.
crashes
And
and
rich people.
Yeah.
maybe they.
We're not talking.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, sometimes you say things like this in class, and it actually helps someone who is not 100% sure. Tomorrow, when they're taking that test, they're going to remember Adam saying something about a Land Rover, and they're going to go, they'll remember that, but they won't remember, so any little thing like that that helps you remember stuff. It's kind of like the Eagle being the spacecraft that lands on the moon. Your mascot, the Caldwell, the Eagle.
The Philadelphia.
I don't know, just, to connect those things, kind of help you remember, that would be okay. All right. A blink is a spacecraft that carries scientific instruments that can collect data but has no human probe? What do you think?
Probe?
A probe.
Stationary.
It's a space probe.
Aren't they big, like out of control?
Okay.
Can people go, this is a completely different question, but can people go on the Hubble telescope? Can people go inside that again? I was
No, it was not designed for military people.
Makes sense.
A Blink is a spacecraft that can carry a crew into space, return to Earth, and then be reused for the same purpose. What do you think, Nick?
Space shuttle.
Space shuttle.
Like a shuttle.
Okay. The International Space Station is a cooperative project involving 16 countries. What do you think, Adam?
True.
True. It was 16 countries. Your book said 15 countries, the United States and 15 other countries.
There's technically 16.
And a
That would
bunch of you- and a
confuse
bunch of
you.
you said false because you saw 15. You left out the part where it said the
Yeah, that
United States
confused me.
and 15 other countries.
Got 16.
Simple math sometimes, it's a booger, isn't it? Okay. All right. What is the main source of power for the International Space Station? What do you think, Nick?
Oh, it's from the solar panels.
Solar panels,
You can't
yeah.
put a nuclear
Solar
power plant
panels.
up there and be like,
Okay. Some space probes
Yeah, what's the?
are equipped to photograph and analyze the atmosphere of a planet. What do you think?
Sure.
That is true. That is true. How many men or people, it's not fair to say men because although it has been all men right now, how many people have traveled as far as the moon? How many people have actually landed on the moon? What do you think, Van?
30 something?
Okay, that's a good guess. What do you think?
Well,
That's a good guess. What do you think?
24.
24. 24 to date. Okay.
Apollo
24 to date.
14.
16.
Okay. What country have they been from? What do you think?
America.
America with a capital M. America.
Mark.
All right. All right.
capital M but lowercase a.
Okay. Probes have visited or passed near to all of the planets. True or false? What do you think?
True.
That is true. They have actually passed all of them. Okay. And which space probe explored Saturn's moons? This is a little bit tougher one. This is one of those, if you got it in front of you, you want to know it. What do you think?
It's like Cassini or
Yeah, Cassidy. That's it.
Dang, Mark.
Cassini.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. A blank is a place that is empty of all matter. What do you think, Bart?
A vacuum?
A vacuum.
I still have this hard seat.
Very good. Very good. An atom that has an atom that has uses on Earth but was originally developed for use in space is called a
Oh
space
Oh, yeah.
spinoff.
I was gonna say
Space
Earth.
knockoff.
Space knuckle.
Then there's the cheap generic.
Yeah, but that would have been made in China. So
Whole fish
they're a
is good
space
for you.
knockoff.
Hey, Kevin, can you copy this?
Cheap.
Look at that.
Okay. With lead. It had to have lead in it.
It's a triple.
Okay.
I know that.
Astronauts in orbit experience a feeling of weightlessness, or what else is it called? What do you think? Nick?
Microgravity.
Microgravity.
Don't when you shoot up into
It's
space
kind of like,
and
they're
ice
just
crystals
falling
go
though. They're basically just.
Yeah, basically that's what orbit. I mean, that's what microgravity is. Remember, they're basically everything is just falling. That's that's how you orbit something. You basically are just falling around it. And inertia kind of keeps you, and gravity kind of takes over and keeps you there. But you're basically just is a continuous fall. That's why. Remember, it talks about how that's why it looks like everything is floating for the astronaut. Everything's just falling at the same speed, so everything's just kind of floating there.
It's kind of like the little, it's like if you get your camera perfect with the RPMs of like a propeller, it looks like it's not moving. Standing But everything's going at the same time.
Everything's falling at the same time.
It's kind of like how the Earth is spinning, but we're moving too, so we don't feel it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
because
jump-
we're
you jump
moving,
in the
that's a
cell
good
phone
analogy. I mean, the earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour, but we don't feel it.
If it stops
I mean,
rolling,
it doesn't even blow my hair. I mean, come on, 1,000 miles an hour.
If it stopped, it just
Uh,
would fly.
But yeah, but it's
Yeah.
because we're going with it, so we don't realize it. Okay? All right. Conditions in space that differ from those on Earth includes near vacuum, extreme temperature, and remote sensing. What do you think?
True? Or no, false?
Oh, it's
There's
false.
no
It is
remote.
false. Yeah, it's not,
Yeah,
no
not
remote
remote
sensing.
sensing. The other
Remote
ones.
sensing is completely different, remember, it has nothing to do with temperature or anything like that. Okay? In a blink, a satellite orbits Earth at the same rate as Earth rotates, and thus it stays over the same place on Earth at all times. What do we call that? It's a tougher one.
Can you say the question?
Think about it. I will. In a blink, a satellite orbits Earth at the same rate that the Earth is rotating, and thus it stays over the same place on Earth all the time.
It starts
Wait, what?
Gee,
Is it
it's
like a true or false?
It's like
No.
there's
Or is it
stars.
what it's called?
oh,
Is what it is.
Astronaut.
What it is.
Stationary orbit? Or stationary?
You're close. You're on the right. You're on the right track.
Stationary.
stationary gravity.
No. He stationary orbit. But what
Station-
is? Think about.
Satellite.
No,
Gyro?
Station.
It starts with G.
it does.
It's just like I kept it as was
Geo-
like gas.
Gyro?
Geostationary.
Geostationary
Keep it rolling.
orbit. Okay, geostationary orbit. Again, if it's right in front of you, it's going to be a whole lot easier. Okay, but that's good. Okay, that's good that you guys are thinking. And you almost pulled it out. That was good. Okay, very good. All right, conditions in space that differ from those on Earth includes near vacuum. I just said that. Never mind. Let's move down one or two. Medical science has benefited greatly from the technology of the space program. What do you think?
True.
That is true. Yeah, that's true. Observation satellites collects data using BLINK, which is the collection of information about Earth and other objects in space without being in direct contact. I'll read that again. That's a long question. Okay. Observation satellites collect data using what? Which is a collection of information about Earth and other objects in space, but it is not in direct contact with any of those objects that it is observing. So if it's not in direct contact, it would be what? What do you think? Yeah, it would, but that's not the name. That's not the song.
Transmitting?
Think about what are we referring to the students that are
Remote
attending our class, but they're not here in person. Remote
Remote.
sensing.
Yeah, there's
I
a
said that.
It's remote
Yeah.
sensing. Okay, remote sensing. Okay. So observation satellites collect data using remote sensing, which is the collection of information about Earth and other objects in space. But it's not in direct contact. All right, what do we call the satellite's framework? What is it called? What do you think?
A bus?
A bus. It's a bus. Yeah.
You know, Miss
No
Frizzle.
way.
All right.
No, that's what Miss Frizzle.
Yeah.
That's what he was.
The antenna that changes data into singles that can be sent to Earth is what type of antenna? What do you think, Adam? He just slapped his forehead. What do you think?
The answer is
Transmitting. If it is sending singles, it is transmitting.
I was thinking transmitting, but I thought it was
If it is receiving,
What's happened to me?
I know I said that.
if it's receiving, it is a receiving antenna. Okay? So transmitting is sending it out, receiving antenna if it's getting it in. Okay? A transmission is when you actually send information out. Okay. Okay, the reaction force that propels a rocket forward is called microgravity. True or false? What do you think, Emma? That is false. Yeah, that's false. Okay. All right. Actually, the test, tomorrow's test only has like 40 questions. Okay, you only have like 40 questions to it. So you should, again, study your homework questions. Okay, look at your homework questions, but look them over. If you look them over, you'll find that it is very beneficial to you. Really, it is. Okay, so look them over. Okay, that goes for you too at home. Look over your homework questions, and we'll talk to you later.